My name's Matt, also known as Coach Jenks, and this is Jenkins Goaltending. In today's video, we're going to teach you how to become a better goaltender by using your hands more efficiently. Let's go! Today's video is going to be all about how to use your hands properly and more efficiently. So when we say your hands, we want to make sure that we're talking about the glove and blocker, and with the glove, we're always catching pucks right in the pocket as best we can and limiting our rebounds. And with the blocker, we want to get pucks right in the heart of it, right in the middle, so we can direct those pucks off to the corner. If we can do that, we can really limit the chances against that we're going to face in any given game. So by limiting our rebounds, we really make the game a lot easier for ourselves by taking away chances that we're just giving away to the other team otherwise with rebounds. Today I'll be showing you 3 or 4 very simple drills that I did with a college athlete that wanted to work on his hands a little bit. So in these drills, what I want you to take from it is that you don't need much to get better. Obviously we were on the ice for this one, but you could even do these with tennis balls, or do it in the basement with a brother or sister shooting on you. Really all you need to do is have a glove on or a blocker, whichever one you're doing, and you need someone to shoot balls or pucks at you, and you can really work on these things at home, or on the ice when you're on the ice with a goalie coach or with your team before practice. I think the best thing about training with your hands is that it doesn't really take a lot to get better. It takes a lot of work and a lot of repetitions, but you don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need to buy some crazy training tool to help you. All you need to do is practice, practice, practice. I think that's the only way that you can really properly develop, is to do it a million times. Do it until it's second nature, until you never have to think about it. If you have to force yourself to track a puck in the net, or force yourself to think about how your body's supposed to move, that's when, as goalies, we start to fall behind a little bit. You've heard the term "don't overthink it." Well, for goaltenders, we have a lot to process on our minds already with having to watch the play and how it develops. So we don't want to cloud our mind with having to think about, oh, I need to move my glove a certain way or my blocker a certain way. We want it to come second nature, and the only way I think to do that is to make sure that you're doing it hundreds of thousands of times over the course of a number of years. I think you really need to make sure that you're driving this skill home, because at the end of the day, it is a skill, it can be learned, and it is possible to get a lot better. The first thing I want to talk about, and the number one thing that I would recommend you practicing before you work on your hands, is just your hand-eye coordination. So you'll hear this be called tracking a lot of times in goalie and hockey communities. Essentially, it just means that you're watching the puck. Your eyes are really your steering wheel for where your body's going to go. So if your eyes are looking right at the puck and following it into your body properly and all the way, then your hands are going to be a lot better and a lot quicker and more accurate. So make sure whenever you can, if you're a younger goalie or even older goalies, make sure you're working on your hand-eye coordination, whether it be with tennis balls, lacrosse balls, or on the ice, making sure that you're tracking pucks and following them all the way into your body. But we'll have a further discussion on that in another video. A common mistake I see in all levels of goalies is that we get stuck in our stance a little bit. Ever since we were little, we were always taught to hold our stance, a variation of a certain way. It's not the same for everybody, but it's fairly close for everybody. And typically we get our hands in a little bit too tight to our body, and we start kind of getting stuck there, which basically means just that our hands aren't relaxed enough to move to where we see the puck. So one common teaching tool that I use is to think of your arm. I have my glove on now. Think of your arm as 3 different joints that all have independent movements. So what I mean by that is I can move from my shoulder, right? So I can raise it, I can lower it. I can move from my elbow, and I can move also from my wrist. So if I use those 3 joints in combination, if I see the puck into my body, I can do all these little variations of things with my glove to make sure that my glove is getting to the right place, to make sure that I get the puck right in the pocket. If I'm only using my shoulder, I'm really limited in how I'm going to be able to stop pucks, because my glove is only stuck at one angle. If I only use my shoulder and my elbow, my glove will still only be able to project and go up and down at the same angle. So we really want to make sure that our wrist is loose and relaxed, because no matter how you hold your glove, whether it's to the side or whether it's pointed up or fingers up, we want to make sure that we're able to move it and adjust, because no matter what your stance looks like, we're going to have to be fluid and adjust with it every once in a while. So I'm going to show you some drills now that I did with a college goaltender, and what I want you to take from it is how simple they are in their process. So the very first drill, we just made him sit in his butterfly in a stationary position, and he took 8 pucks to his glove and 8 pucks to his blocker. Now this might seem easy, it might seem like you can do this already, but even for older goalies, it's really the main focus to make sure that your eyes are following the puck all the way into your body or where you want to catch the puck. So if you'll notice with his glove, he's going to make sure that when he catches the puck, his nose is going to make a straight line right to where he catches the puck in the pocket, and everything is happening in front of his body. Okay, so whether it's his glove or his blocker, he's making saves out in front of his body, and he's trying to make them early. By making them early, you basically just cover your tracks and make sure that if you do make a mistake, the puck isn't going to fall in behind you. If I'm holding my glove, back behind my shoulder, then if I make a mistake and I drop this puck, it's going to fall on my feet or behind me, and that's going to cause a lot of trouble for us. So big takeaway here is just to make sure that my nose can make a straight line to the puck. So if I'm catching pucks like this and I'm still looking forward, just my eyeballs are moving, that's not quite good enough. We want to sharpen that skill to where we're tracking the puck in all the way to make a straight line from our nose to the pocket of our glove, or on the other hand, our nose to the middle of our blocker. That way you'll be able to control rebounds, get pucks right in the middle of your blocker or in your pocket, and your teammates will thank you. So we're going to take you through about 4 minutes of drills here. Like I said, these are very simple drills, and the first one is just shots from a distance. We typically like to keep things simple and isolate one body part, so either the glove or the blocker at one time for the first warm-up shots of the session. So we go through 8 glove shots, and then we go through 8 blocker shots, with the focus being just to get your nose on the puck, lean in a little bit, and make the save as early as possible. Then we would move to the same type of drill, but now we're going to give him shots in any pattern, glove or blocker. So now he's forced to make a little bit of a decision between one or the other. We're still isolating him in his butterfly so he doesn't have to drop to his knees while making the save. That would be the next step that we'll do in another video. This drill is an interesting one, but I really love it. We do this from both sides, this obviously being the glove side, and the idea here is that the goalie has his eyes facing forward, he's facing the middle or center ice, and when the shooter taps his stick, the goalie is then forced to get his nose onto the puck, turn his shoulders to get his chest square to the puck, and try to make a hand save using all 3 joints like we talked about earlier. He can move from his shoulder, from his elbow, or his wrist in any pattern to make sure that he's getting to that puck wherever it is. So the challenge here is that the shooter has a lot of room to score, so the goalie really has to be sharp with his hands and make sure that he's getting to the right place, not just moving automatically. And then as we transfer to the blocker side, the same drill, same setup, same everything. This side can be a little bit more difficult because you do have the stick in your hand that can get in the way of the post a little bit, but same process applies. Nose turns to the puck, shoulders try to square to the shooter as much as possible, feet stay where they are, and we're just trying to make sure that we're getting the puck right in the heart of our blocker, and if we do so, we should be popping the puck right back to the shooter, as you'll see he's done a couple times now. Then what we did was we moved in a little bit tighter for the first drill because now his hands are feeling a little bit sharper, he's seeing the puck pretty well, and so now we're going to challenge him a little bit. So we move the pucks in about half the distance that they were before, and we go through the same pattern where it's 8 or 10 glove side shots, 8 or 10 blocker side shots, and then we mix it up. So from this distance, this is a really difficult place to make decisions on. If you don't know where the puck's going, it could be one side or the other. This is a drill that can be really quite challenging, and the idea here is to eliminate all guessing. So if you don't see the puck, then you don't move your hands. Notice how when the puck goes to his blocker side, his glove isn't moving or reacting in any way, and same thing for the other side. Now this is the challenging one. We can go either way, and actually Austin does a really great job here, especially towards the end, where you can really see that he's picking up the pucks as it releases off the stick, and the shooter's even adding a little bit of deception here by moving the puck first. So we have to be forced to make really clean decisions here if we want to make a good save from in tight. What's really important to remember about working with your hands and making glove and blocker saves is that you may not make every save right away, and that's fine. If you were, it would just be too easy. So challenge yourself a little bit, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, and make sure that you're training the right way and not just training to make every save. I think that's really important distinction that you need to make as a goaltender, and take pride in how you practice, and make sure that if there's a problem or you notice that one side is a little better than the other or something goes wrong, that you can really dial it back and you can work on that. Another key takeaway here is that there's no one way to do things, so try to take it out of your mind that you need to do things a very certain specific way. If you hold your glove a certain way that looks different from others, or same thing with your blocker, and it works for you, then that's great. It's important to remember that we all have the common goal of just stopping the puck, and at the end of the day, if you do your job, it really doesn't matter what you look like. So if you hold your hands in a little bit of an unorthodox way, that's fine. As long as it's working. The minute it stops working, then there's more work to be done, and you got to go back to the drawing board a little bit. All in all, there are a million ways to hold your hands and to make hand saves, and everyone has an opinion on it. But the important thing to remember for you as a goaltender is that as long as you're making the save and as long as you feel comfortable doing it and you've seen the puck, you're not just guessing, then your job is done. We really want you to feel confident in the fact that you don't need to use your feet all the time. Sometimes the puck gets outside of our body and we're not 100% square, and that's when our hands can really come into play. So a couple of these drills are really crucial to developing that skill and making sure that you can use your hands to react and not just have them stuck in one place the whole game. I truly hope you learned something today and you were able to take something from the video. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. You can like, subscribe, share, or comment in the section below, and we can chat about anything you want pertaining to hands or goalie related stuff.